From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening, Fort Wainwright officials have released the identity of the U.S. Army Alaska soldier who drowned on Sunday at the Chena Lakes recreational area.
32-year-old Sergeant Anton Epstein of Valley Village, California, was swimming with his family in the area when it appeared that he called for help. Other swimmers did attempt to rescue him but could not reach him before he went under. His body was recovered the next day around 12:40 p.m. Epstein was a horizontal construction engineer assigned to the 73rd Engineer Company, which is a part of the 125 Stryker Brigade combat team. He served 3 combat tours in Iraq and 1 tour in Afghanistan.
A 39-year-old convicted child rapist will serve 25 years in jail for sexually abusing his 2 stepdaughters over a 2-year period of time during the last decade. During a plea hearing earlier this year, James Moses pled guilty to a single count of first-degree sexual abuse of a minor and a single count of second-degree child sexual abuse. Moses was sentenced in state court earlier today. In addition to the jail term, Moses must also register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Authorities say the abuse began in mid-2008 and went through early 2011 when the children were 12 and 15 years of age. Some family members, including the victims, applauded the plea deal, but Sharon Tyone, the mother of the defendant, saved her harshest criticisms for the victims and their family members.
Shouldn't be no glory or anything of anybody doing this, you know. Yeah. If they're saying they're suffering, show it. Don't stand around and smile and smirk or anything. And one time I met that young boy, he looked down on me. Nobody has the right to look down on nobody, and I never met him before. Yes, I am angry.
I definitely beg to differ. Watching somebody that's put into somebody's life to take care of them get put away for something like this is no happy time for anybody. No exhortations of joy will be given by us. My wife shed tears listening to all the court stuff while we were in there, and that's what this will be, is another trial in her life to get past all the stuff that has happened to her.
The Fairbanks District Attorney has dropped a drunken driving charge against a Fairbanks real estate agent and former legislative candidate who successfully challenged the traffic stop that led to his arrest. After reviewing video of a January 27th traffic stop that led to the arrest of 53-year-old David Pruse, State District Court Judge Patrick Hammers took issue with the initial traffic stop as well as the reason for it. The DUI charge was dismissed last Thursday. In a breath test after his arrest, police said Pruse registered a breath alcohol content of 0.120, more than the legal limit for driving in Alaska. Pruse was the 2012 Republican candidate in the race for State House District 4, losing to the incumbent Democrat Scott Kawasaki. Pruse is also a member of the Fairbanks North Star Borough Planning Commission.
The Alaska Office of Children's Services has been discussing the agency's ability to operate effectively, especially in rural Alaska. There have been requests that OCS no longer disclose any information on a Bethel man accused of molesting children in his care. The counsel representing Peter Toney, age 69, has filed a motion to bar OCS from releasing any further statements involving the man. Toney faces charges of molesting a 4-year-old girl in his unlicensed daycare and was additionally charged with sexually abusing a foster child in his care in 1998. On Tuesday, Judge Douglas Blankenship did not rule on the filing. Meanwhile, OCS Director Christy Lawton said the agency would not immediately answer questions related to the case.
In a teleconference today, researchers talked about the role a warming climate plays in the increased number of forest fires in Alaska. Dr. Scott Roop, a professor of forestry at the University of Alaska, said the average size of fires today is 165 acres compared to 89 acres during previous decades. Alaska alone has experienced a total of 5 broken heat records and 72 large wildfires. The report says that increased frequency and severity of forest fires in Alaska, forecasted by researchers, will have a devastating impact on Alaska's economy and the livelihood of its people. Dr. Roop said the study can help mitigate the effects of the warming.
Part of that is mitigating the ongoing impacts that our communities are experiencing, whether it's wildfire this summer certainly being a good example of the potential impacts wildfire can have on communities, to the many other issues across the state, whether it's erosion, flooding, changes in permafrost dynamics, those sorts of impacts. This is a model, as I mentioned, that we've been applying here in Alaska, and it allows us to address broad range of climate change impacts.
All right, when we come back, preparations continue for the Tanana Valley State Fair.
And this is a neat one. He started off by dropping out of school. Now he might be going to West Point. That's going to be our military report.
Who he?
I don't know. You'll have to stay with us and see. Welcome back to the Fbx Evening News. This Friday, the Tanana Valley State Fair will officially open its doors to the interior for this year's Salmon Enchanted Evening themed fair. Vendors have been busy setting up their stands, and the rides are being constructed this week in preparation for the 10-day event. This year, there has been some changes to the fair for interior residents to enjoy, including a fully paved walkway and midway between the rides. Another feature this year includes Buddy Day, and some changes have been made to participate in that as well.
Another new thing that we're going to be doing on Buddy Day this year, Golden Wheel Amusements, our fantastic carnival, is having a new policy. Sourdough fuel locations all throughout Fairbanks have Buddy Day passes. It's a little voucher for free that you need to pick up at the sourdough fuel locations, so that way when you come into the fairgrounds, you're able to have that voucher to participate in Buddy Day. The whole community has really pulled together in an amazing way for us to have a brand new fairgrounds for everybody to enjoy. So if you haven't come out to the Tanana Valley State Fair, or if it's been a couple years, this is the year to come.
KTVF will be broadcasting live from the fair again this year, beginning on opening day this Friday at 6 p.m.
As a high school dropout, David Huff has accomplished more than he ever expected in the past 3.5 years. News Center 11's Monty Bowen has more in this week's military report.
After an altercation led to suspension at the end of his freshman year in high school, Huff was left short of credits with a diminishing grade point average.
At that point, the whole second semester didn't count. They took away my whole second semester, so I was behind 6 credits.
So he dropped out of high school and was accepted into the Alaska Military Youth Academy. 2 months after he talked to a recruiter, Huff enlisted in the Alaska Army National Guard and took advantage of another opportunity by attending the National Guard Patriot Academy. That academy offered qualified recruits the chance to finish high school, get a diploma, and look at other options, including the potential of receiving a Guard nomination to West Point. With no knowledge of West Point, Huff began looking into it.
A couple of weeks went by and I actually went on the website and was like, wow, this is amazing, and then see the people that actually went to West Point and things that they've done, and I was like, okay, this is what we're aiming for. When I first applied in 2012, my ACT scores were 20s and above. My SAT scores are pretty good, but I didn't get accepted the first year. I applied again in November of 2012. They said, nope, not this time. We want you to take college classes. So I took English, trigonometry, and chemistry, and they saw I was doing okay in them, and they said, we'll accept you to the prep school. Usually once they say no the first time, it's no, There's 11,000 people that apply every year, maybe 1,500 get in, so for me to even have the opportunity to go into the prep school is a blessing.
He said through all this, he has learned that you really can't go anywhere unless you have a goal in life. Monty Bowen, News Center 11.
The Military Report is brought to you by Stanley Nissan. Innovation for all.
There's a lot of history located inside of Pioneer Park, not only of the park itself, but of Fairbanks. Tonight we explore that in our weekly segment. Hello and welcome back to another edition of What's Happening at Pioneer Park. Today we're going to explore one of the oldest parts of the park, which is Gold Rush Town. Now located inside of Gold Rush Town are many old artifacts and museums where you can learn not only about the history of Fairbanks, but of Pioneer Park. Let's go check it out. Come on. Now the first stop on our tour through Gold Rush Town is right here inside of the Wickersham House. This house was built in the early 1900s by Judge Wickersham. But fun fact about him, not only was he a judge, he was also a territorial legislator. He introduced some pretty important bills, including one that asked for Alaska to become a state. Also, he started the Alaska Railroad. That's pretty big there. But Judge Wickersham also had a pretty adventurous side to him. He tried to scale Mount McKinley, and although he thought he was successful, later found out he actually did not make it to the top. We're now here inside of the first original Presbyterian church that was built by Dr. Young in 1904. Now, it was one of the first churches here in the interior, and some of the first sermons were actually held inside of this room for the early settlers of Fairbanks in the interior. Now, fun fact about this place is that it cost $5,500 to build. Now, in today's day and age, that might not seem like much, but in 1904, that was a pretty penny. Today's vendor spotlight is on more than just cupcakes. Located behind the carousel across from the riverboat Nanana, it features sweet and savory cupcakes and daily lunch special. So there certainly is a lot of history located right here inside of Gold Rush Town. But before we go, we can't leave without giving you your weekly trivia question of the week. Now, this day it's all about Wickersham. What mountain peak did Judge Wickersham name after his wife? Go to webcenter11.com and enter for your chance to win some really neat prizes, because that's what's happening this week at Pioneer Park.
That was a very good piece.
I know. It was like right up here.
Yeah, let's switch to Joe now. Joe, what's going on in sports?
Well, we're going to be talking about some of the greatest student athletes and coaches to be associated with interior sports as we look at 2 Hall of Fame classes that will be inducted shortly, in about like a month or so. Plus, the Gold Panthers got a win in their first game of ABL tournament action. This was pretty good.
Awesome.
All that and more coming up next.
Fantastic.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the sports seat for you this evening on a hump day. Hope your day's been going well. Now let's talk some sports. Even a long delay didn't throw off the Gold Panthers last night as they faced the Anchorage Bucks in their ABL tournament opener. The Glacier Pilots and Matsu Miners went 11 innings, and the Miners came away with an 8-7 win before the Panthers could take the field. When they did, the Panthers got a 4-1 win over the Bucks. Less means more. The Panthers only had 2 hits and won the game, scoring at least a run in the bottom of the second, third, and fourth innings. They gave up 6 hits, but allowed 1 score. Drew Mitrishin got the win, allowing 1 run on his 6 hits. Matt Milky was in the zone in 4 2/3 innings of work. Milky tossed 8 Ks, no hits or walks, and got the save. David Edwards had an RBI single to lead the Panthers. 2 errors by the Bucks turned into runs for the Gold Panthers, who had 7 stolen bases in the win. Their calling card. Now, next up are those Miners, the team Alaska beat to win the ABL regular season title. The Miners have been in back-to-back extra inning games, so they could be a bit worn down. 2 of the best offensive teams will be going at it, but the Panthers have some pitching. A.J. Simcox and Christian Stewart are arguably the top hitters in the ABL. Simcox is hitting .356 tops in the ABL, and Stewart leads the league with 31 RBIs and is tied with David Edwards with 5 homers. But the Panthers have a staff. Pitcher Nathan Bannister is 6-0, best in the ABL with a 2.25 ERA, and Cody Moffitt's 0.76 ERA is second in the league. Michael Ramirez is 4-1, and Kevin Sprague has 9 saves to lead the ABL. The Miners and Panthers meet at 9 tonight in Mulcahy Stadium. Today, it was revealed that one of our local sports icons who passed away will be honored by the Alaska High School Hall of Fame. Joe Tremorillo will be inducted in the Alaskan High School Hall of Fame. Coach T was a former Nanac basketball captain in the 50s who led his team to the program's first win over a college opponent. Coach T was also Coach of the Year in 1991 during his 4-year tenure coaching the women's basketball team. Joe T was part of the inaugural Alaska Nanac Hall of Fame 2008 class as well. Tremorillo coached the Malamutes to a boys state title in 1964 and became an assistant coach for over 25 years. He passed away last September at the age of 77. Joe Tremorillo joins Roger Nellis, Ed Bahus Jr., Mia Costello, Catherine Rhodes, Ron Gleason, Chuck White, and Steve Ivanoff in this year's Hall of Fame class. The induction ceremony is Sunday at the Millennium Alaskan Hotel in Anchorage at 5 p.m. And speaking of Hall of Fames, the Alaska Nanacs recently announced their 4-member Hall of Fame class for 2013. Jamie Byerly Gray, a former Nanac rifler and NCAA champion from 2002 through 2006, won the gold in the 2012 London Olympics in 50-meter 3 position and set 2 Olympic records. Carl Benson was an All-American swimmer in the mid-'80s, setting 2 varsity records at the 1986 NCAA championship and will enter the Hall. Mike Curtin, or MC, who has been the head athletic trainer and strength and conditioning coach at UAF for over a decade, will be inducted for his contributions as well. And closing out the class is Dr. Carrie S. Keller. Keller has been the team physician for over 20 years and has been a philanthropist to UAF as well. He also has a scholarship in his name. Keller helped develop Alaska's policy on student-athlete concussions as a part of the ASAA Sports Medicine Advisory Committee. The induction ceremony will be September 28th in the Wood Center Ballroom on UAF's campus. It's always good to support a good cause with your time or money when you're able, but I never thought I'd be supporting a group this way. Yeah, that's me, displaying my little twinkle toes, if you will. My partner and I, Amanda Donahue, will be performing on August 9th at the Tanana Valley State Fair in Dancing with the Fairbanks Stars. This is a very physical routine, and as a former athlete, I have a new appreciation for those who dance. Now I'm doing all this to support the Lathrop High School Dance Group. This is a fundraising event for them. Funds help the students receive training from world-class choreographers and professional costumes, as well as travel expenses. Their season is from September to March. This dance group gets about 25 kids per year from all of the Fairbanks high schools. I was next in line for KTVF personalities. If you remember, Daryl Lewis and Stephanie Woodard also participated in this event. Now, if you want to help Amanda and I win, come on out on August 9th to vote for us and put a little change in the pot under our names. You can also make a donation by making a check out to the Lathrop Ballroom Dance Team. I'll have more info on our performance times as the date nears. It'll be something to see, trust me. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Stay cool, Alaska. Your full weather forecast is coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Good evening, Fairbanks. Stephanie Woodard here again in the weather seat for Mr. Mike Schultz. And tonight we're going to get right into weather with our Fairbanks Almanac. Conditions right now are as shown, normal high of 70 degrees with a normal low of 51 degrees. The record high for today is 87 degrees, set back in 1994, and the low was 35 degrees, cold, set back in 1929. As for our sunrise, it came up early this morning at 4:50 a.m. and will set this evening at 11:04 p.m., giving us a grand total of 18 hours and 14 minutes, which is yet again another loss of 7 minutes from yesterday. Moving now to current conditions across our state. Starting up north with Barrow, a cool 43 degrees there with cloud coverage, and into the interior we were under cloudy skies somewhat today with our record-breaking conditions and temperatures still continuing. As for the southeast, it's all sun for them today with much warmer temps down there, and over to the southwest they had a little bit more mild temperatures today as well as some cloud coverage. Okay, well, now it's time to slide on down to the lower 48. It looks like the East Coast still has some pretty warm temperatures, and New York has seen some pretty good precipitation today. Down in Miami, hot temps there continue as well with some showers. As for the West, look at those temperatures there in Phoenix, triple digits of 109 degrees. Las Vegas is not far behind them with 107, and Salt Lake is not far behind that with 101. All right, well, back to Alaska for tomorrow, starting up north. Scattered clouds can be expected across the region with Barrow warming up to the mid-50s. As for Nome, they can expect to see some scattered showers tomorrow and temperatures there in the low 60s. All right, the interior can expect to see those temperatures in the 80s, and Healy is right there with us at 80 degrees as well. Over to the southeast, scattered clouds there with warmer temperatures for them in the 70s both. And on to the southwest, rain is in the forecast for them as well with temperatures in the 50s for Cold Bay, 60s for Bethel, and 70s for Kodiak. All right, the Central Bowl is our last stop, and it can expect tomorrow scattered clouds with rain in Homer. Temperatures there will be in the mid-60s, and in Anchorage it will see 71 degrees. All right, well, back to the interior for tonight. Pretty easy forecast, 54 degrees with mostly clear skies. And for tomorrow, still staying above that 80-degree mark, 83 degrees expected tomorrow with lots of sunshine. And of course, warmer temperatures sticking around. And let's take a look at our 5-day extended forecast. Look at that. Looks like we're going to be in the 80s all the way through the weekend. Good start to the fair. 50s for the evening cool-off temperatures. That's not too bad. So, hey, I'll take it.
Me too.
Yeah, so let me think. It broke 80 today, so that's officially the record then, I think, of 31 days of temperatures over 80 degrees.
Yeah, we are record-breaking summer.
And so we're going to break it by 3 more days, it looks like. So that's really good.
And that's a really good start for our fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's normally raining at this time, so
good
stuff, guys.
All right, very good. Thanks, Steph. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, new reports of misconduct by airport security screeners. That's coming up next with Brian Williams.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
Okay, from all of us here at the News Center, we hope you have a very good evening. Good night.
Thank you.